Hello, everyone, and welcome into Over the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast here with Cal and Mike. Mike, how's it going?
Doing really good.
And you know, here at Over the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast, we're not a good podcast.
We're not a bad podcast.
We are just the Wrestling Podcast here on YouTube. So the big news coming out of yesterday, WWE going back to the brand split, brand extension, whatever you want to call it, going into effect July 19th, SmackDown moving live to Tuesday nights. A lot of news. Mike, your just initial reaction when you saw it, and now just overall thoughts.
When I got the notification on my phone that it was happening, I was off the walls. It was crazy. First couple things that were running through my head, a lot easier on the superstars,
Definitely.
And it's going to give SmackDown a huge boost.
Do you think it's going to be a problem having, as a wrestling fan, having to watch Raw, which is 3 hours, turning the TV on the next night, SmackDown 2 hours, 5 hours of content? What do you think?
Watching Raw is tough being 3 hours, but if the rosters are different, I really won't have a problem with it. Pay-per-view weekends are going to be a little bit tough.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's huge for SmackDown. Finally, they're getting a push, and they haven't been even close to Raw. Raw is always the A show. It's always going to be the A show. But with this, you get a fresh SmackDown roster. It's only 2 hours. It's going to be a lot easier to watch than Raw. And I just think it's great for the overall company. Too many stars right now.
Yeah.
People aren't getting the right pushes. People aren't getting the right matches. I think this is just so good for the overall product. It's going to be great for us fans and for the wrestlers, as you said. What is the thing you're most looking forward to?
The thing I'm most looking forward to, honestly, I'm hoping that it'll be a GM split. You'll see Stephanie running Raw, Shane running SmackDown.
Yep.
That can lead to rivalries down the road.
Definitely.
Rivalries between the shows in general, the superstars. And I think if Shane runs SmackDown, there'll be a huge push for the mid-match guys.
The mid-card guys
Sorry.
are also known as. You're just so excited.
I'm off the walls.
And I definitely think I like your idea with Shane going to SmackDown because he will bump the ratings up for SmackDown, I think, no question.
For sure, yeah.
People are going to want to watch
already
Shane
doing
McMahon.
that with Raw.
People are going to want to watch Shane McMahon. Stephanie's a good fit on Raw. You might want to have the heel run Raw, the face run SmackDown. And I like the idea of them colliding at some point. Not sure if they'll bring back bragging rights or they'll have just another pay-per-view like that where the brands face off. They'll maybe do something at Survivor Series. You know, a lot of possibilities here.
Quick rumor I heard was they were just going to combine them on pay-per-views. They weren't ever going to, separate them.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going right now. They're going to have two announced teams. They're going to have the SmackDown announced team, the Raw announced team. Hopefully Byron Saxton just falls off the face of the earth.
Please,
but just
God.
never have to see him again. But I think this definitely means that Byron Saxton's only going to be doing Raw or SmackDown.
So does this mean Jerry's coming back?
Jerry Lawler, he does SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I think,
King.
Yeah, he'll be back. I hope they bring Corey Graves up.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe to do something. Because Byron Saxton does Raw and SmackDown. I think it's definitely big to get him off. There's too much Byron Saxton.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal. Where did he even come from?
I can't believe we're wasting this much time on Byron Saxton. So, who would be your top guy in Raw, top guy in SmackDown?
Top guy in Raw would have to be Seth Rollins. Top guy in SmackDown, a little more debatable. I'm going with John Cena.
I think you definitely have to keep Roman Reigns and John Cena on separate shows. That's the big rumor right now, that they want to keep them off each other's shows to do a big WrestleMania main event that no one wants to see.
No, that would suck.
So, but I think that's what they want to do because they view those as the top two guys. I think Rollins is definitely going to end up on Raw. I think Cena's going to be on Raw as well. I think Reigns and Ambrose head over SmackDown.
Really?
I think Dean's one of those guys that gets caught in the middle, definitely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he always has.
There's something that they just don't trust or don't see. I'm not really sure what Dean Ambrose, what they think. I think he's awesome. But I think Reigns they're going to have Reigns be the top guy for SmackDown. And you know what the big thing about this is? We're not going to have Roman Reigns shoved down our throats.
Thank God.
Every chance they get to do that.
It's on SmackDown and Raw.
With the question arises, do they go back to 2 world titles or do they just keep the one?
I'm hoping they just keep the one, make that like a really big match at pay-per-views, WrestleMania type deal.
With that said, would the world champion go back and forth from Raw to SmackDown, or would it just be on one show?
You know, I really like that, and I'm hoping that they can go back and forth, they can decide, because that really that keeps everything fresh.
Definitely, and something interesting to note, Money in the Bank's right around the corner.
Ew.
What does that mean for the Money in the Bank if they don't cash in before the brand split?
So wait, they haven't given it to Dean Ambrose yet?
I think they're going to go with 2 world titles.
Really?
I think they love the idea of having 2 world titles, even though it definitely devalues the title, and one always means more than the other. But the more you think about it, it gives other guys a chance to hold a world title.
That's true.
I'm sure they'll switch it. It'll be the WWE title on one show, World Heavyweight title on one show, and it gives a guy like Dean Ambrose a chance to be the champion. Kevin Owens, mid-card guys like that. I know the title will mean less, but still, you can just say, hey, this guy's a former world champion, and stuff like that.
I'm afraid of it meaning less, really, and I'm hoping that it's almost like guys on SmackDown are fighting to become almost the number one contender to fight in like the main event of WrestleMania against the number one contender against guys from Raw in the same match.
It worries me that a guy who's the world champ would be bouncing from Raw and SmackDown, and he'd get overexposed. We'd get tired of him. Roman Reigns, we already are tired of him. But I think at the end of the day they're going to do 2 world titles.
Maybe they'll just bring back CM Punk and call it a day.
Maybe. Probably not, though. So what would you do with the Intercontinental and U.S. title? Obviously, split those 2 up. What show would you have the Intercontinental title on?
Intercontinental, I would put on SmackDown.
United States title?
I'd keep on Raw.
I like that. I think the Intercontinental title is really coming back to relevance, and I think it's the perfect title for SmackDown, because I feel like SmackDown is going to be more of a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, the mid-card.
Such a SmackDown thing.
I think it's going to be a real mid-card, like, workman's show, and I think the Intercontinental title fits that perfectly. And then now the U.S. title, which has just been plummeting, will have a nice resurgence and mean something. We all know it's not going to be as like a world title or an Intercontinental title, but I definitely feel like it'll gain more relevance.
When there is a title match on the pre-show to a pay-per-view, I don't even care.
It devalues the title a lot.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I don't know why that they did that. They did it 2 pay-per-views in a row. Might have been 3. I'm not really sure. I know it was 2 in a row.
I don't watch the pre-shows.
Yeah. And what do you think about the tag titles?
Honestly, I don't know what they're going to do here. I mean, the tag team division is really just popping right now. It's huge. It's awesome.
Definitely.
I would like to see how they would do it on the separate shows, but at the same time, I really want to see it kept on one show.
I like the idea, and it's the rumored idea at the moment, would be that the tag team champions would bounce around from Raw and SmackDown. I think that's what you need to do, and definitely the tag team division benefits from this brand split because you have so much talent, and then the tag team division's finally being taken seriously. Enzo and Cass, Vaudevillains, New Day, the club, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much talent, and you guys got guys coming up from NXT too. So I think it would definitely be the better option to just have it bounce around between Raw and SmackDown.
Speaking of guys coming from NXT, who do you think is going to be brought up in all this?
I think Finn Balor. I'm shocked that he's not already.
Oh my god, I know.
Samoa Joe having the title might handicap that a little bit. If ever Samoa Joe shows up on the main roster, I'm not sure if he's going to do that or not. I think Shinsuke Nakamura should definitely be up there. There's no reason for him to be in NXT longer than maybe 2 more months.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Another talent, Austin Aries. He might not be ready right now, but definitely in the future, sometime soon, after Finn and Shinsuke, obviously. The biggest thing I'm worried about is they're going to drop the title from Samoa Joe to some almost no-name guy because they need the talent. Yeah,
and another thing I worry about is the brand split is you see guys like Corbin and Apollo Crews just at kind of a stalemate right now. And I don't think that'll happen with the new shows, but if they're going to bring up all this NXT talent, which I feel like they're going to bring up at least 4 or 5 guys at the least, almost, we're thinking. So I don't want all these NXT guys to just kind of mold into one. You look at a guy like Apollo Crews, very talented in the ring, didn't feel like he was ready to get called up yet. He's a little raw on the mic. Baron Corbin, I feel like he has the whole package, but he's kind of in a rut right now with Ziggler. And I just worry that if you bring all these NXT guys up at once, they might just kind of all fade away.
I mean, talking about Corbin and Ziggler, how many matches do we have to watch before they finally just pick somebody to win that rivalry and call it a day?
Yep, I think Corbin's going to come out better, obviously, because he's working with a guy like Ziggler, he'll put you over. But Apollo Crews, no mic skills whatsoever.
I mean, I just
don't feel like
athletic.
he was. Yeah, he's great in the ring, but I don't feel like he was ready. But if you bring up a guy like Finn Balor, it's gonna be hard to mess that up.
Yeah, really.
And Shinsuke Nakamura as well.
Also, yeah.
So I think the higher brand of NXT guys, I think they just brought in Apollo Crews too early.
Definitely, for sure. He definitely needs work on the mic. No personality, looking like Roman Reigns out there. Surprised he doesn't get the booze, but
he probably will if they push him soon enough.
Yeah.
So with the draft, how do you think it's going to play out? Do you think it's going to be a quote-unquote random, or do you think, Shane and Steph, if they are the 2 GMs, we don't know yet, will just go up and say, here, I'm drafting so-and-so, I'm drafting so-and-so?
I honestly don't know. I'm hoping they do it a little bit, just like make a scene out of it on Raw,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll be like a pretty big deal. The guys will come down, maybe throw a shirt on or something.
Right, yeah, they've done that in past years. I'd like it to be maybe they get like 5 or 6 picks that they get to have, because it's going to be the whole. No one's glued to any show right now. So I don't think most of the wrestlers don't even know where they're going. Right, legitimately don't know what show they're going on right now. So I think you give, saying that Shane and Steph are the 2 GMs, they get 5, 6 picks, and then the rest is randomized.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You get your big names, your Rollins, your Cenas, or Reigns, Orton if he's back. I think you do it that way, so you already legitimize. You get your top 3 guys. You legitimize both brands. I think it's just a way to go. But I do like the whole random thing. I know it's not random, obviously, but when the names come up and you just kind of flip through them, it's always kind of cool. It's kind of unpredictable.
I actually have a question for you. So if you were one of them and you had the number 1 pick, who'd you take?
Seth Rollins, baby.
I would go with John Cena.
I feel like, yeah, as we touched on this earlier, you got to separate Roman Reigns and John Cena.
Yeah.
I think you need to keep Cena on Raw, though. But then again, you put him to SmackDown, boom, automatic ratings. But how much are you going to throw at SmackDown to boost the ratings before you kind of say, like, hey, whoa, Raw.
You can't overbook it.
You still need Raw to, do something. So, final thoughts. Where is the WWE headed right now?
WWE is headed up, just a major boost here. This is going to be huge for them. Vince, very smart businessman.
How worried are you that they're going to mess this up?
Oh, very, very worried.
I am also very worried. At first, I wasn't a fan of the whole 2 world titles because they definitely get devalued. But now I'm starting to think about it. You could see some unlikely champions. And I love the idea. The rumor right now is Cena's going to Raw, Reigns going to SmackDown. I love the idea of Roman Reigns getting off my TVs on Monday nights. And I think the tag team division is going to benefit. The women's division is definitely going to benefit. The overall mid-cards can, finally guys will get their chance at the main event. And a guy we didn't even mention here, where is AJ Styles fall in all of this? Is he just going to get caught under the rug? Are they going to bring in Finn to feud with him? There's rumors, all the rumors are saying he's destined for big things. What that means, we don't really know. But I feel like he's a guy that could definitely get caught.
After watching Raw, I was really hopeful that they would bring him up soon, but if they do the brand split and you bring Finn in to, feud with Styles,
right,
it's going to be a little weird. I feel like that should be drawn out over a little bit of time,
but this
is coming up.
But we want Finn here sooner than later.
Yes, I would love to see Finn Balor before the draft happens.
Just a quick thought here. What do you think of having 2 tag team championships? One for Raw and for SmackDown. I think that the tag team division is deep enough.
It's definitely deep enough, but I mean, do we really do all those guys have a big enough push behind them? Who are you really going to throw in the mix?
No, I agree. I'm just
the rising stars or the shining stars, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing to bring up.
Yeah, I'd like to see them keep that on one for sure, and then I mean maybe you could just split up the women's in the tag, or just have them go on both shows, switch it up.
What does this mean for Money in the Bank? Whoever wins that, if they don't cash in before.
Dean Ambrose is already the world title to me.
A lot of questions, but I do feel like WWE is headed in the right direction when it comes to this. I am nervous that they'll mess it up.
Very nervous.
So
they've been known to do stuff.
So that's all the thoughts. Unless you got something else. Last thing, just getting a word from the producer. What are we thinking of? Are they going to do a Raw vs. SmackDown pay-per-view? Are they going to save it for Survivor Series, save it for WrestleMania, or are they just not going to even intermingle at all? What do you think?
I'm hoping to see in pay-per-views, you see Raw matches, you see SmackDown matches.
Yeah, I definitely don't want them to just do... I don't think they're gonna, but just in case it happens, I'm just going to go on record and saying that I really hope they don't go back to the Raw pay-per-views and the SmackDown pay-per-views. I think just keep them together.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be Raw guys versus SmackDown guys.
No, I'm just saying...
Just all in one...
No, I get what you're saying there, but would you want there to be one pay-per-view a year where they have Raw versus SmackDown? Or do you want to save it till WrestleMania, Survivor Series?
Perfect pay-per-view for that would be? Battleground,
yeah, bring some legitimacy to that.
I don't even know what that pay-per-view is about.
So you're in favor of this?
Yeah.
How fast do you want to do? You want to wait till next year? You want to do it this year? Obviously, we can't do it this year because Battleground will be...
Yeah, I mean, you obviously had to wait till next year. I think they could do it perfectly. Like, that would just right in.
Yeah, there's a rumor that they're going to do 2 big combined shows. It's going to be, I think, the night after SummerSlam and the night after WrestleMania, which is good, but hopefully that doesn't lead to just smashing them together again. So with that said, WWE finally does the brand split. We're excited for the draft, July 11th, a week before SmackDown goes live on July 19th.
Goodbye, TNA.
Little Tuesday Night Wars, by the way. We're doing SmackDown versus TNA. It'll be interesting to see how TNA responds there. So, Mike's dying laughing right now, if anybody cares, for the Tuesday Night Wars comment. So this is Cal signing off from the Over the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast Studios. Leave us likes, dislikes, comments. Follow us on Twitter.
Let us know how you feel.